guys, this is Imran Dalvi. In this video, we are going to talk about how I made my first boat. Yes, definitely, this boat what you see in the picture. As a child, I was passionate about boats. I loved everything from yachts, dories, small canoes, and even paper boats as a matter of fact. But then, when I want to have one, how do I go about it? What is the ideal boat, ideal kind of boat which I desire? A boat that is not too heavy, not too light, behaves well in the wind drafts, in the strong currents. It could carry around 4 to 5 people, maneuver between the mangroves, a boat which can run in low waters, doesn't rock and roll too much, and basically it should serve my purpose of fishing or maybe a joyride. The boat which I desired, how do I get it? I visited some local manufacturers. They had their own molds and own designs, which I never liked. The specs were totally different. But then, when I thought about the expenses and the logistics, it was an expensive affair. So I gave up the idea of purchasing a boat from the local manufacturer. Now what do I do about it? Then I thought of making one boat. Will I be able to make one boat? Yes, definitely. There are so many videos in the YouTube channel which will help you. I thought about it. Then later on, I saw some videos. They were way too professional. It wasn't my cup of tea. Then again, I saw some DIY projects. I saw some people building boats at their backyards. That sounded interesting. And in that case, there were so many layman's ideas which helped me a lot. Then I decided I will make one. Will I be able to make it? Yes. My mind said yes, and I will definitely make it. Specs were ready in my mind, and I decided for sure I'll make a boat. But what material to be used? Marine ply, one, timber for the ribs, and then fiberglassing. It was a brilliant idea. But then, when you make a boat like this, you need a whole lot of carpenter's tools. How do I go about it now? It was a big question. I went to the local market, I bought some carpenter's tools, from circular saws to jigsaws to wood planers and power drills, stainless steel screws, and whole lot of C-clamps. C-clamps do a great job, believe me, in twisting and bending and stuff like that. The most important part about the boat was the bow. The bow was the most difficult part. I took the help of the local carpenter, which helped me a lot, because there are certain angles in the boat, very strategic angles, from where I could start building my project. Set for the project, all tools and materials were got at my warehouse. Now, the first day, the beginning of the project, I got some plies from the market. In our market, we get plies around 8 by 4 size. We don't get longer than that. Then joining the ply was again a problem. I made my first cut. The front was 24 inches. The rear, near the transom side, was 17.5 inches. Perfect. I got the sides cut, got it joined with the epoxy, with the help of the epoxy adhesive, and kept it overnight to dry, from where I could start my work the next day. Day 2, my side panels were ready. Now I start building the project. I got the side panel fixed on the bow and my boat started to take shape. But then I wanted a perfect shape. What would be the shape? I was not too sure about it. So I made a temporary jig out of scrap wood. I got the center right. I got the bottom right. The center measures around 50 centimeters and the bottom in the center measures around 44 centimeters. Perfect. I got the shape of the boat. Now my boat looks like a boat. Now well, the shape of the boat was ready. The scrap board helped me a lot. I started making the transom. The transom frame was made because the dimensions what I wanted, I got it right. The transom plate was made. It was fixed on the ply. And secondly, I made this rib, which was the most important rib of the boat, because the joint of the plywood were exactly placed on this rib. When this rib was fixed on the sides, I decided how many more ribs I could take to finish the boat. The rib part is the most important part of the boat. It gives a lot of strength to the boat, and the ship stays in place. That's what I wanted. It was decided how many ribs to take to complete the boat. There were 5 ribs in between, right from the bow to the transom. The rib, after fitting the ribs, the boat came into perfect shape. But there were still some surfaces like need to be strengthened. Later on, we'll talk about it. I turned the boat upside down. Now I thought about fixing the bottom. But this time again the plywood, marine ply, which was shorter, 8 feet. I had to take the joint at the other rib so that the joints of the plywood were well distributed. The joint did not come at one place. I fixed the bottom of the boat. Now I feel my vessel is ready. That my vessel was ready. Now the next part was the most difficult part, the fiberglassing. The fiberglassing was such a thing which I've never done in my life. Anyways, there were 30 kgs of resin purchased, hardener, cobalt, gel coat, everything. Now how do I start about fiberglassing? The first thing about fiberglassing was I wanted to seal my edges, the bottom part of the boat, and wherever I took a joint. I cut 5 inches strip to the entire bottom of the boat and started to pour resin over that thing. It worked out well for me for the first time and I was too happy about it. I kept it to dry for 2 days and after drying it was rock solid. Then came the keel. Keel was one part missing. Keel of the boat is again an important part of the boat. It joins the bow and the ribs right up to the transom. The keel, if you go to sea, it is an important part. It doesn't allow the boat to drift sideways. When you're running in the low waters, you might hit a rock. It avoids that too. And plus, the third thing, the most important thing, it strengthens the boat from underneath. Mat was complete. The next mat was a chop strand mat, a thicker gauge one. I completely covered the vessel from outside with the chop strand mat. The fiberglassing work was over from outside. My guys did a great job who helped me with a pair of silicone gloves. Sticky, messy, though everything was fair. But my job was done. Fiberglass job was done from outside. I need some fiberglassing from inside too. I made a paste out of resin. I used some powder. I thickened the paste and applied the entire paste from the edges of the boat from the inside to avoid certain kind of leakages. Then I used another thick chop strand mat from inside to cover it up from the bottom. That was also done fairly. There was one thing missing actually in the carpenter's job. This strip which gave the look of the boat and whole lot of strengthening. This strip was fitted with the help of C clamps. Here the C clamps helped me a lot. I had to bend the strip slowly with the help of the C clamps. The entire fixing of the boat was done by stainless steel metal screws. Mind you, I used only stainless steel because this boat will be in the water for a long time. That project was over. Now remains the painting, the paint of the boat. What kind of paint should I choose for the boat? I had full faith in the epoxy paint over than the enamel paint because this boat had to stay in waters for the long time and I thought epoxy paint would do a great job. So I chose for epoxy paint. The shades were white and blue basically. My project was over. The painting was well done. The boat came out very beautiful and it looks superb. I thought of giving it a name. What name should I give the boat? I thought of Rose because she is beautiful. Hey, let's go fishing.